Good morning, crew. What's up, Shelby?
Good morning. How are you?
Rock and rolling. How you doing?
It's Wednesday.
Wednesday. That's right. All right, JJ, what's going on? Let's see. I know we're immune's coming in. I'm just wait a minute, let everybody else kind of come on in.
While we're at it, can I just say how excited I am that I'm going to be having dinner this evening?
Oh man, life is good.
I've been thinking about Bang Bang Shrimp since yesterday.
Bang Bang Shrimp's pretty legit. So good morning, Amy. You're on mute. Still not, can't get you.
Oh,
Okay. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. I know, JJ, why don't you text Tony and see where he's at? Make sure he starts hopping on.
okay.
And Shelby will maybe text Kayla as well. So we'll get rolling here. And then Amy, I know you're so there's something with your computer we need to help figure out, or you're calling in too. You're calling in, Amy Young. Technology's great when it works. I bet it's a setting. There's probably like I know this happened to me before. There's probably a setting on your computer that's doing
I'm surprised no one's put that setting on mine.
All right. Well, I'm going to get going for sake of time. Obviously, you know, I'm a few minutes late with some tech difficulties on my end and had a breakfast with our biggest client. So that was important. But I've got some good stuff to share today, guys. And we're really going to dive into LinkedIn a little bit. So I'm going to share my screen here. So, you know, we always like to kind of get going with a motivational thought or idea or something for us to kind of take hold of for the day, the week, the month, all that. So, of course, my boy Napoleon Hill, he says, belief. There is a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing he believes he can acquire. I'm sorry, no one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. The state of mind must be belief, not mere hope or wish. Open-mindedness is essential for belief. Closed minds do not inspire faith, courage, and belief. You know, so again, why do we talk about, you know, some of these motivational concepts, these professional development ideas, the concept between our mind, our thoughts, and what we do? It's so important in life, but especially in sales, right? And that idea that, are you believing for a big month, a big sale, a big you fill in the blank, a big income this year, a big whatever it may be? Almost everything really starts in our mind, right? So we've talked about that quite a bit. I just thought that was one more kind of good quote there. So again, there's a difference between wishing for a thing and being ready to receive it. No one is ready for a thing until he believes he can acquire it. And I think that's really the big point too, is really in your heart, in your mind, getting that you believe you can do what you're trying to accomplish. And, you know, sometimes that can be a journey, that can be a process, that may be writing it out, speaking it out, you know, kind of working on strategies to really make it a part of you, if you will. So go ahead. We got Kayla. And
did it really take like 14 text messages to say, hey, get on the meeting?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, cool. So here's what we're going to spend most of the time today. Again, I'm trying to look for, I was looking for something really kind of practical and tactical. So a couple of things that I'm going to share for everyone now, and then I'll send out afterwards. But I subscribe to this new thing called summaries.com. And for those of you playing at home here, and especially since you're on the meeting, if you go on RoboForm and you type in summaries, it'll pop up. So I think I have it under kind of the, the others section under strategic. See if I can get under strategic here. Maybe technology and other summaries.com right here. So summaries.com is like a business. Well, actually, it could be for anything. It's basically like a book summary company. So like you want to go through Gary Vaynerchuk's a pretty popular kind of thought leader out there. You want to go through crushing it. Well, instead of reading the whole book, you can either listen to an MP3 of it, PDF of it, etc. So it's a really great way to kind of summarize the key parts of what that is. And that's what we did with $1 Million Habits last month when we kind of went through that. So again, always encouraging you guys and trying to share good info and give you guys, frankly, free resources to learn and grow. Ton of good stuff on here, right? Even if you just go on the ones I've looked at right now. So today we're going to go through 60 days to LinkedIn mastery. So I've got the summary and I'll send that at the end here. And again, these summaries, obviously it's like your cliff notes for a book, are meant to be short. Most of these are less than 10 pages. It's going to give you the key concepts, the key takeaways that you can really work on. So what I wanted to start with before we kind of jump in and nitty gritty, when is the last time you've been on LinkedIn? Like actively been on LinkedIn?
Every day.
Other than Shelby Lamb.
Right now.
I'm actually I'm on a lot with that whatever, I forget what it's even called, Doug. The marketing stuff that mentioned to me where I can kind of find more info on LinkedIn.
Good. The Wizard Marketing.
You know what I'm talking about?
I do. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, it's actually it's hit or miss, but it's when you can get a lot more contact info just by doing a quick little search. It's huge.
There's no doubt. Okay, so Craig, that's good. So Circle Gets the Square, Craig Balco. Who else? Amy Young, Kayla, Tony. When's the last
I
time
haven't
you've
been on LinkedIn in years. I'm not gonna lie.
So, and here was one of the stats from this, which I thought was interesting, which we probably kind of know, but and again, I'm going to try and blow this up because I know this is big, but LinkedIn has almost 750 million users on it. It is by far the largest business related social media app out there. Frankly, I don't even know if there's anything like who's LinkedIn's competitor, right? I mean, I know there's like, Instagram and Facebook, and I know they're owned by the same company or whatever, but there's TikTok and all this other crap, but there's really not a lot of other big business networking, business social media, whatever you want to say, apps, right? So huge, growing, getting bigger. Again, Gary Vaynerchuk mentioned earlier, so many are missing out on the insane opportunity on LinkedIn right now. So here's my disclaimer for the meeting, by the way. I'm going to go through this. I'm going to try and give us some practical takeaways. I really went through this with the idea of like, what are some things, and we're even hit the pause button at one point in the meeting to give you some things to do on LinkedIn. I'm not saying I'm an expert on it. I'm not saying you should spend all your time on it. What I am saying is there are a lot of people who are monetizing and making money on LinkedIn in sales. And if you're looking, and I know we're all very busy, and I know the Florida market, I know all these things, right? Okay. And there's always a good excuse why not to do other sort of proactive marketing or networking things. But I would say this would be one area that if you really think not just now, but now, a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, how can you start to work to position yourself to build influence and gain referrals and leads? And I think this is an area where we all could probably get better, all spend a little bit of time. And that's why I'm doing the training today. Okay. So I know we kind of asked, but I did do this last night. I went on everyone's LinkedIn, by the way. So we're going to go through a quick tour of our team's LinkedIn. Okay. So let's go with, all right, let's see here. Circle Gets Square, JJ Stevens. And here's what I want us to do. Poke at people and be funny. No, I really don't, but I want us to try and look at this sort of with fresh eyes. Okay. And then what are things that we like sort of, and then maybe an area we can improve. Okay. And again, I was sharing this with a guy the other day that he's a younger guy in the agency world. And he kind of calls me every once in a while, like, hey, this, that, and the other. One of the things I shared with him is that your website is your new front door, right? Like, and I know we're in mainlands and now we actually have old people walking in, but that's not super common. Most people today for a business, especially service related, the website is the front door, right? It's sort of like the first thing you see. What I would position for you guys would be your LinkedIn is sort of like your personal bedroom door, right? It's the first thing. I know we're getting in the bedroom here. So not in a weird way. Okay. So where's that EPLI? How's that going? So, but it's your view, right? And let me ask you this. And again, I know Craig and myself are more in the business insurance space, commercial insurance space, but how often do you maybe hear of someone, meet someone in a networking space, and you go and one of the first things you do is look for them either on Facebook and or LinkedIn? I know I do. Again, that may be more because I'm in like the business to business space. Like I'll give you for example here. Literally now officially like our largest client is Health Map. And I just had a meeting today with their CFO. Now I've talked to their CFO a bunch of times, but I never met him in person, and we've had Zoom meetings and all that. Well, guess what? Before that meeting, I was on his LinkedIn because he's not big on Facebook or other things, but I can at least find out, oh, he lives in Connecticut. I kind of knew some of this, but like, you know, I can learn a little bit more about the background. Okay.
That's
And
funny.
yep. And here's what I would say, even if you're like, yeah, whatever, I don't need LinkedIn, I'm a BNI master, or I'm so busy, or I'm getting referrals, this, that, or the other. Don't think for a second that you may have clients who are smart enough to say, I want to check out more on this Tony Mella guy. And where can I get info on Tony Mella? And they may go into your LinkedIn. Do you follow me? So what I would position you is this is kind of twofold. It's not only a proactive sort of offensive, hey, you can go and try and make connections and get business, but almost maybe defensive is the wrong term, but it's a way to make sure that you sort of have a good profile and a good reputation out there so that not if, but when people look you up, what are they going to see? How's that going to look? This is yet another way you're sort of putting yourself out there in the digital marketplace. Do you all agree with that? Do I at least have you sold on that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So going through JJ's here. So, you know what? And for lack of time, I'm going to be the commenter, if you will. But I just kind of want you guys looking at this with some fresh eyes too. So here's some things. First off, good profile picture. I mean, that guy just looks like a stud right there. Okay. You know, think about your profile pictures. Right. And they even talk about this in the summary here. And one of the concepts they basically say is, you know, you want to, you know, kind of use a good picture right here. This is day 7. And by the way, this 60 days to LinkedIn mastery, and literally you have the Cliff Notes version for every day, kind of gives you something to do each day to make you kind of a powerhouse on LinkedIn. Right. I'm trying to give us all this in one shot. But I'll send this out at the end. You'll have summary and all of this, right? Talks about a good picture. It says you upload a picture, your profile is professional, recognizable. Keep in mind the picture is going to show up everywhere. Make sure your photo sends the right signals. Hit balance between being too stiff and not serious enough. Clothes you're wearing also speak volumes. Get a professional photographer who knows how to make this look good and good investment. So a quick takeaway, and we'll do it at the end, would be if we go through and some of the pictures you guys have, like Craig, I just want to pinch those cheeks. By the way, I'm just saying that's like Craig from, you know, JJ likes that. I know. So good picture, you know, definitely a little dated, perhaps. Love you, buddy.
Thanks for that.
There you go. So, but you know, some of them, and again, I'm not trying to pick too much here. Okay, Tony, you know, picture, you know, some of these pictures probably could get updated. Now, look, mine, we could pick at mine. Now, mine was from a few years ago, and I've got my wifey in it, right? This is when I won an award for top 40 under 40. Okay. At what point do you take the top 40 under 40 award picture down? That's like shot through the heart. It's like, I'm 42.
Never.
I mean, I think I could ride it for like another year and a half, but like,
Listen, just stand next to me and you'll always look much younger. Don't worry about it.
I like it. I'll take that. That's why you're here. So
Doug, another point is no one's gonna know that's your wife. You know, as someone viewing your profile, no one's gonna know who that is.
fair point. Fair point. So they may think it's either me with just hopefully a hot girl, or maybe they, yeah, a good point. And I've had people say, no, you shouldn't do that. And again, I'm talking broad strokes here. This is all like just trying to add value for you guys. You guys obviously are going to choose what you do with it. I'll tell you one of my reasons or thought processes with it is because frankly, almost everybody has the photo stock. Here's my headshot. So for me, and when he even kind of talks about it here, he says, what does he say? Hit a good balance between being too stiff and not serious enough. Right. So when I thought about it, this where me was trying to put something out there that looks professional. I mean, you can see I'm winning something or it's an award. Right. And then obviously it's with my wife. So, maybe softens me a little. I don't know. That was my thought originally. And after all this, I may update my photo. Okay. But this isn't one to think about. This is one of the first things that people are going to see with you. Right. And again, if you go through enough LinkedIn, you can certainly see there are some that are just like Facebook, or it's like, whoa, maybe that's not appropriate. Or, you see somebody just cut and paste an old picture, or, it's the very standard headshot, whatever. Okay. So anyway, headshot, think about that. Your photo, I should say, what are you doing there? I kind of like the background. I'm possible like this little jumping thing sort of. Okay. It's at least a little different. It's a little eye catching. One of the things they're going to tell you as well is if we think of all of this as sort of real estate, this is digital real estate. Okay. And the other thing, and an easy one that you could do certainly could be having your LinkedIn profile page, in your signature line, or maybe you create a specific templated email where you're highlighting your LinkedIn and you're trying to connect with people, right? So there are a variety of ways, again, we can go about this, but the point is, this is more real estate here. So this is called the banner. What do you want to put there? Now on mine, and again, I've got, the picture strategic. I don't really care. If you want that, great. You could put a quote. I mean, there's a variety of things. You could, by the way, if we really kind of niche down, and Tony has nothing here. Okay. I specialize in working with high net worth families for their personal insurance protection. You could do that. Okay. And that's going to be something that at least is probably going to stand out a little bit. So I would just highlight that this is yet another area you can utilize from sort of a marketing perspective, right? So Amy, there's just blank. There's nothing there, right? Craig, nothing there. So Mark Sprague, by the way, the CFO of Fancy Pants, nothing there, right? Not super hard to probably spend 30 minutes, go to your profile, update that. Add some space where you can kind of add something there, right? I'm going to also pull up, I forgot to pull up Kayla. I'm going to pull up Kayla's, and I'm going to also pull up Shelby's, just so for, kind of a review here. So any questions on anything so far or comments? I will kind of also want to try and make this, interactive for us. All right.
So I'm
I'll be
extremely
interactive.
guilty about not using LinkedIn because obviously I've kind of focused more on personal lines. And then I saw that you updated something a couple of days ago, obviously probably preparing for this.
Probably late last night.
No, not late last night.
I've had more changes on my LinkedIn in the last 24 hours.
I'm literally changing things now. But seeing how, the personal lines market in the state is just kind of a dumpster fire in an earthquake.
On the
in
Titanic.
a dumpster fire. Looking at the group benefit side, it's going to be kind of hard to get groups to really look at Facebook. it's great for personal lines, but I want HR people and business people looking
Right.
at, hey, how can I
100%.
retain really good employees, and how can I go and
100%.
find great employees? Oh, here's a guy that's offering to do that for us
Love
at very low cost. So
Love it. And so that could be a great strategy to say, hey, I want to, and I love it. You know, you may say from a social media perspective, I'm going to try and use my Facebook to do more personal lines. And again, JJ's a rare bird that he's kind of doing a variety of things or a few, but he's going to maybe make LinkedIn more targeted for group benefits. And again, I know
understatement of the century, by the way.
rare bird. Yeah, there you go. So, and I know, look, we still do a ton of personal lines that will never be gone, right? Regardless of what shakes out with the market. And my point would be, even if you're like, well, I'm more personal lines, I don't need LinkedIn. Well, what about attracting realtors, mortgage brokers, financial advisors, estate planning attorneys, people that are centers of influence that continue business? They are on LinkedIn, right? So again, high level, think about your profile picture, your background. Look at Shelby. She's got the sunflower. At least it's kind of a nice picture. You know, probably it's hard to look at that and not smile or sort of be in a good mood. It probably says a little something about Shelby or who she is. So a variety of ways you can go with that. Okay. The other thing is then thinking about your title. You know, what are you putting on there? And again, I give you guys a ton of flexibility. You want to put what you have on your business card. You want to put something different. You know, risk advisor, client relations. We've got risk management advisor. Mine, I've got our mission. So I put my mission sort of in there, right? And then, if you scroll down on mine, okay, it'll say, chief encouragement officer or whatever. But, so there's a variety of ways you can use this. Again, maybe you have this as a little bit more of a call to action. I help, high net worth families protect their most important assets, right? That would be very niche for sort of like, the Chubb, the Pure, the high net worth space. I specialize in working with business owners, helping them reduce costs while maintaining proper coverage, whatever. You could get creative and think through sort of what do you want there in this spot with all of this being, kind of precious real estate, right? Tony's, he's got some of his little alphabet soup here. Okay. So that's good, right? So it kind of shows me a little bit of, all right, well, I don't know what CISR elite means, but it probably means that you've spent some time in your industry and you've done something. The other thing that I would just highlight very quick would be, at the very least, this is a takeaway for the end a little bit. At the very least, you need to go through and make sure you don't have any typos. Like Tony's not a junior anymore at USF. Okay, T, and I know you probably haven't been on LinkedIn forever, but days of being a junior at USF are over, right?
I actually go on quite frequently because I personally, from a business perspective, I don't like LinkedIn, and here's why. We all gear LinkedIn, as you're basically saying now, to say, hey, we want to focus on our business. And that's important. I need to know that. I want to know who the real person is. I don't want to know who the guy in the suit is. I want to know who the guy is on the weekend with his family. Is he hanging out at International Plaza, smoking cigars with Tony Soprano, or is he on his boat, or is he out racing his cars, which you don't see on LinkedIn.
Right, but that's your personal perspective. So
Correct.
what I would highlight is this. Again, we're trying to make this focused in saying, how am I helping you guys get better at sales, earn more income, help more clients? This is definitely a tool. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt to say that LinkedIn isn't a tool that, frankly, most salespeople at some level should use, and could probably use a lot better. That's the view of it, right? The other thing would say, and I see JJ, I'll get you 1 second. The other thing I would say is that if you also think about this, that you could likely connect with people on LinkedIn that where maybe you then get to the point where that they're, smoking cigars at International Mall on the weekend, right? So it's also a way to connect with other people. All I'm saying at the very least, it's like if I see a resume with a typo, I immediately throw it out. And again, just highlighting, Amy, as I was looking through here, like independent is spelled wrong. We'd want to correct that. Like independent, there should be an E there, not an A. Okay. Again, not a huge deal. Not trying to say other than that, if this is the sort of front door of you that some people may look at us. And by the way, LinkedIn sometimes can pop up and tell you there are people that have viewed your profile, and so many people view your profile and all that. It's just we want to make sure that it represents you well. Take me out of it, take strategic out of it. That's going to represent you well, right? So thinking through that, obviously, even thinking through things like, have you posted on LinkedIn? LinkedIn is getting to be more like Facebook, if you will, where there is a news feed, right? There's sort of this, feed here that I'm scrolling through right now, right? You can post on there, obviously. Great opportunity, by the way, to take what we're already posting on our social media channels and just repost them. You can go on there and talk about, again, the variety of challenges and things going on in the Florida home market. You could talk about, group benefits and how it's a great way to engage and attract employees in a tough labor market right now, right? There is no shortage of info out there. And frankly, it's just taking the time to go and post it and kind of, start to become a little bit of a thought leader on there, right? This guy, he's pretty good, and he's in the insurance space and also does some consulting and different things. But, obviously, look, he's got a video here, and it looks like he's posting for open producer position. Okay. So obviously recruiting and all that. So variety of ways. But again, I would highlight, this kind of a news feed type thing. One of the other things that it will talk about in here in the sort of LinkedIn mastery is, who are you following and at least being on and being active and starting to comment or like or post on someone else's, right? So I come on here and I see something that I want to comment on. Oh, okay. So Frank Crumb's new office. Great. Hey, congrats on the new office opening, right? This takes 2 seconds. This is not hard. This does not take a lot of time. And the idea is that, the analytics and algorithms and however LinkedIn works, the more you start doing that, you're going to start probably now popping up more on those other people's feeds. So an easy one would also do, and this is sort of yet another takeaway, would be, if I want like immediate next steps on LinkedIn, pick on Tony here a little bit. Like, is Debbie Deeb on LinkedIn? Okay, Tony and Debbie Deeb have, known each other a long time. Debbie Deeb's been a long time realtor, referral partner of ours. So I can go on Debbie Deeb's LinkedIn. I can see what she's doing, what's going on here. Okay. And then I could also see her posts. I'm sure there's a way to follow her post, request a recommendation. I could request a recommendation. Look at that. That may be a good one, right? So you could go right on in there and say, hey, I'd like a recommendation. If you scroll to the very bottom of most people's LinkedIns, if they do have any recommendations, you'll see them here. So basic concept we talk about quite a bit in sales is social proofing, right? Social proofing says it's one thing if I tell you I'm great, but it's way better if everyone else tells you I'm great, right? That's why we talk about the importance of reviews and the Google reviews and all that. This is yet another area where, again, you could do some personal reaching out to your centers of influence you're already connected with. Be an easy way for you to start. JJ, did you want to add something? I saw you kind of throw the hand in the air or shake it like you just don't care.
So, no, I mean, I kind of get where Tony is coming from, but I guess the way that I was kind of looking at it is if you want to like deal with high value mortgage lenders, find out the person on LinkedIn that you really want to talk about in that particular company, and then jump over to Facebook and find out that this guy is like totally into Corvettes and Rolex watches. And then you know exactly who you're going to talk to and what his interests are or her interests.
No doubt.
So that's kind of how I view it. I'm not a big LinkedIn guy myself. I'm kind of like Tony. I want to be able to mention, oh, hey, you've got 3 kids under 9. So does our agency owner. He's constantly tired, aren't you?
Yeah, there you go. Love it. Yeah. And again, like I said, we all have a range of views and opinions on social media. we talked here, and we've mentioned this before in other trainings. Like Kayla and Amy Young are probably our best salespeople on social media, specifically on Facebook. I know both you guys are very active. Some of you are active in groups. Some of you are just active personally. Some of you are doing some of these types of things already on Facebook. What we're saying here, what I'm saying, well, take me out of it. What this LinkedIn training is saying is, look, there's no doubt there's going to be a higher concentration of business people, salespeople, people involved at some level in small business, capitalism, whatever you want to say, on LinkedIn, just by the nature of what it is. So try and replicate some of those skills that you're using in other areas, right? On LinkedIn. Okay. And again, I'm not saying too, like, and there are some people doing it, by the way. I'm not saying go start a TikTok account, go Twitter and go this, go that. There's only so many hours a day, so many things you can do. But, you know, the thought of the concentration of people and business people that are on LinkedIn makes sense, right? So here's what it says here, kind of the LinkedIn mastery it talks about and says, you know, if you think about 3 things to the LinkedIn mastery, this is what this program's called. This summary is 60 days to LinkedIn mastery. Is optimize your profile. That's sort of step 1. Some of what we just talked about: profile picture, clean up anything, ask for recommendations. Are there any things that you want to add? Have you done volunteering recently? Have you gotten a new designation, right? All those sorts of things. This is probably the type of thing that you want to update once a year, maybe every 6 months, something like that. And then make connections and create content, right? So those are kind of the ideas that they're saying, look, these are ways that you're going to become a kind of a higher profile, if you will, on LinkedIn, and likely create good opportunities for referrals, connections, business. Okay. So it says here, this was like a LinkedIn coach. It says, in real life, you make meaningful connections by spending time with people, getting to know them, and a bond over what you have in common. Kind of like what we were just talking a little bit ago with Tony and, you know, the, you know, smoking cigars, International Mall, and all that. On LinkedIn, you make meaningful connections by putting yourself out there so like-minded people can relate to you and engage with your future content updates. That's the other thing to think about. You know, I've been talking to Shelby quite a bit about this with some of the strategies I'm trying to do with the book. I just wrote this book, and I think we kind of settled on the title, Your Winning Move, an agency owner's guide to selling your agency, right? So I'm trying to develop a little bit of thought leadership in the space of insurance agency owners, mergers and acquisitions, all with the goal in mind that it's going to help attract and retain new partnerships to fold under strategic, right? So part of that is the content. This is the idea here too. You know, if you're doing some of these posts on Facebook, you could also put them on LinkedIn with regards to what's going on in the homeowners market, where people are going to then start to see, oh, wow, Amy Young really knows what's going on, or what's going on with flood insurance, whatever it may be, right? The guy who wrote the book says, if you invest a few minutes per day thinking about and implementing these 60 steps, you'll be a master of LinkedIn in 60 days. You'll know more than 99% of LinkedIn users and will be making connections and creating content that brings you the results you want in your professional life. Okay. So here's kind of a summary of all the, you know, sort of the different things. We kind of already went through, you know, some of the profiles a little bit. Some of the other things that I wanted to highlight here that I thought were good is, once it talks through the content creation, it talks about your genius zone, sort of finding your genius zone. And really what they're saying is this: look, it's saying there'll be various things they use the term expert. I'm going to say that you're good at or know well. When multiple expert zones overlap, you have the potential genius zone, an area that you know a lot more about than the average person. Identify that area, your genius zone, make sure it aligns with your purpose, and then start focusing your posts on that area. Be humble, but know what your superpowers are. Again, it could be, you know, making a concerted effort, if I'm Tony, to make posts that are going to be relevant to flood insurance and the changes that are going on in the flood insurance market, and making sure that I'm updating, that anytime I'm getting info from, you know, Assurant or American Bankers or Flood 2.0 or, you know, whatever it is, that I'm then posting on LinkedIn to, again, create some level of brand awareness of, hey, I'm someone who is really a thought leader in this space, right? Could be Amy Young, Kayla, could be homeowners, whatever area you feel really good that you know really, really well. that you can kind of dig deeper in, right? And kind of go into. One of the other easy takeaways, the customized URL. I thought this was really good. And I did this last night myself. And again, we're going to spend some time here in a minute to give you guys some opportunities to do this. So if you look at my LinkedIn profile was like this, Doug Levi, CLCS, blah, 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 blah. I then went last night and created a custom URL. So now my custom URL is just LinkedIn / Douglas Levi. That's an easy one that, you know, every one of us can do, to basically say, I want to replace, you know, whatever kind of long jargony thing that there is with my name. That's a dead easy one. Again, and that could be something, whether you can put it on your signature line, whether you want to sort of cross-pollinate between platforms, and maybe you're posting something about your LinkedIn profile being updated on Facebook. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Hey, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn. And you put something like that on Facebook, right? Just a variety of ideas that you can do that, but trying to make it easy for people to remember, contact, connect, etc. So what else? We talked about the picture, talked about the banner, again, spending some areas there. We talked about those first 3 lines, right? Really spending some time thinking through, what am I putting out there? How am I doing it in a meaningful way? Is it a call to action? Is it going to be, you know, our mission? Is it going to be your mission? Is it going to be something specific to a niche? You know, well, you know, and again, Craig, if you wanted, you know, if we really wanted to sort of niche, I specialize in working with, you know, restaurant owners and construction owners on their risk management or whatever it may be, right? It could be really as niche as you want or as broad as you want, but really thinking through that. So, you know, in this example on day 12 here, they use this guy named Michael Hyatt, and they kind of say, you know, put your goal out there. What's your genius zone? Who's your ideal audience? And then words or phrases that are going to trigger their interest, right? So this guy says, I'm a leadership mentor together with my team, Michael Hyatt. I help overwhelmed high individuals win at work, succeed in life, and lead with confidence. By the way, and I'll say on, like I noticed on Craig's, for what it's worth. And Craig, again, you may want to think about tweaking or updating some of this. Like for his time at BB&T, he put, I thought this was really good, by the way. I'm not just saying this. This is not a joke, for what it's worth. I specialize in commercial property and casualty insurance. My aim is not to tell you what I can do for you. I like that, by the way. Why is that a good statement at the beginning? Just from a sales perspective, scrap LinkedIn for a second, but why is that a good statement? Other than Craig.
So a lot of people will tell you what they can do and then not provide it. Craig is actually saying, I want to bring your company value, which is like in the mind of the business owner. That's fantastic, because you want to make my company better, as opposed to, hey, I can do all these great things.
Good. What else?
I think he's pretty much saying, I'm not going to sell you. I'm interested in helping you.
Okay. I like it.
Just to put it basic.
Any other thoughts on it? I'll give you one, and I'll keep it to one word. We'll play the Twitter game. Disarming. When I read that, it's disarming, right? It's not what I would normally expect the insurance guy to say, right? Anytime you can sort of do that in a sales perspective, like I'll give you one, and I get this all the time. If you've never called my cell phone and left me a voice message, you do it. I had my daughter left the voice message for me, right? Like I literally had a girl chasing me down from Salesforce. Okay, Salesforce.com, like big Salesforce. She's trying to tell me who knows what. She called me 3 times, by the way. Another great sales takeaway. I normally don't call people back. If you call me and leave me a message 3 times, I'm gonna call you back. And I did. And I told her, hey, I'm calling you back because of your persistence. Great job. Not interested at all, but thanks. Here's where I'm going with it. Like, this woman makes calls for a living. It's all she does. And she literally left on the voice message, I make calls all day. That was the best voice message I ever heard. It was very different, very unique, blah, 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 blah. It was, in a word, what she's saying, disarming. It's sort of out of the norm, right? In hopefully in a good way, you're catching someone off guard, not in a bad way, but in a good way. You know, you could say I'm surprising them. So then he goes and he says, my real goal is to bring value to your company. We kind of talked about that. Some of you guys even said that in the first point, right? My real goal is to value to your company are researching, truly understanding the who, the what, and the why of your organization. Once that is achieved, I can bring solution options and not only protect your company, but add value and ultimately help to ensure continued success in your industry. My level of achievement is measured by the number of clients that consider me a trusted advisor and no longer their insurance agent. By the way, great line. Craig, you need to like delete that and put it under us.
Yeah, that's true. That's yeah. And I was just thinking as you're reading, I'm like, okay, this is good. I got to.
It's really good, right? You know, if you want a conversation with your agent, if your conversation with your agent starts and stops once they deliver your policy renewal, I enjoy discussing your wants and needs and how our insurance capabilities coincide with it. By the way, and all that we're talking about here, and no joke, if I were you, Craig, I would take that off of BB&T and I would probably edit some of that and put that in your real estate space, either here or your banner, right? There's some good stuff there. Clearly at some point in time, you sat down, you thought through that, or you had John Laurie or somebody or Doug or whoever it was, somebody was really like helping to create something there. You know, that's good. So I would really encourage you specifically, like I said, that could be an easy one for you. So again, thinking through and sort of spending the time, guys, to even think through, what am I going to say and how am I going to say it? That's not always easy, right? Again, there was a lot of really good takeaways from Craig. I'll even put that at the end, sort of in my summary, like, you know, you may want to go back and look at his a little bit and say, what things out of this do I really like that resonate with me? How could I maybe sort of adapt it a little bit? Okay. You know, so in terms of, you know, again, thinking through the first three lines, what are you doing? Okay. We talked about proofs, honors, awards, volunteer, anything that you think is important. Definitely one that you could highlight on. Connect with lots. This is the other thing that I would say. So it says the best way to connect with people on LinkedIn, provide them with value and sharing your knowledge freely. Tell them your insider secrets, answer questions, serve them. Do that to enough people, okay, for free, and 1 to 2% of those people will hire you or buy from you. Aim to have enough connections that 1 to 2% of them take action will be enough. So one of the other things that I would say is, you know, for what it's worth, I've done LinkedIn for years. And one of the strategies I've had is I've just connected with a lot of people. Like if you look on my LinkedIn, I have 7,300 people on here. Okay. So that's probably more than all of you combined. Now, I'm not saying I've got a great strategy other than years ago. I was like, I want to connect with a lot of people on LinkedIn because I can use it down the road. That's the reality, right? So thinking about how many people am I connected with on LinkedIn and what strategy do I have to connect with more people? Guys, it can be as simple as I'm going to go in once a week and add some new connections, answer some new connections, and that's it. And again, if you look historically, and I don't know how long I've been on LinkedIn, I'm sure it says somewhere. I mean, I've probably been on it for, I don't know, probably at least 10 years. That's how I've gotten 7,300 people that I'm connected with, right? Okay. So thinking about that, you know, are you making a strategy to say, I'm going to go in and I'm going to connect with people? And then really, and where I'll say where I have not done as good a job, I've just connected with a lot of people, but it's not like I tried to do anything to add value or to put an extra step or an extra note, or, hey, I'd like to meet for coffee, or, hey, I'd like to know more about you, or, hey, we could learn about our businesses, all that type of stuff. Right. So for sake of time, because I know we were a little late, I'm going to hit the pause button now. I'm going to end with one last thing here. Okay. And we're going to take like 10 minutes because I know if I don't do it, otherwise you guys may never do it again. and we're going to work on our LinkedIn. Okay. And this is kind of what I put like in terms of the action items. Okay. Update your bio, your picture, your customized URL. We talked about that. That's easy. Okay. Any license or awards, clean up any old or incorrect info. We talked about joining LinkedIn, we actually didn't talk about this, but another area or way to kind of really get engaged and network is to join groups on LinkedIn. Does everybody understand and know what groups are? There's groups on LinkedIn. You can search for, almost anything. Okay. So again, like on LinkedIn, I could go and I could say, here's groups. So I can click on groups. Okay. I'm in the business management, insurance, and real estate development group. Right. So I can make sure to, be active in here. Right. And again, I'll be the first to say I'm in it, but I'm not active in it. Right. So I could start and say, all right, I'm gonna make a concerted effort to start talking about this. You're going on here and, then again, trying to be the guy who's practicing when he preached, like I'll go probably now at the end. Say again. So, I'll probably put a post to our sort of Florida homeowners insurance crisis for those that are, in that group. Right. The other thing to share that I've got in here as well are some strategies and ideas of what and how am I connecting with people, right? Because a lot of times it's what to say and how to say it. So like anything else, you can just Google search and find some things. So this was an article I found, not, by the way, even though the number is the same, not tied to that 60 days to LinkedIn mastery. This is some other company called SalesBread, and this is 60 LinkedIn connection request message templates, right? So here are just some done for you. If you're like, okay, Doug, I get it. I should use LinkedIn more. I could be on it more. I could make some more connections with realtors, mortgage brokers, et cetera, et cetera. But what am I going to say and how am I going to say it? These are all just ideas, right? Hi, I'm looking to expand my network with business owners, blah, blah. I'd love to learn about you. And there's a way we support each other, right? And then there's a whole bunch of varieties of that. Hope your week's off to a great start. I notice we're both in the whatever. I'd love to connect. There's ones that have more of a pitch to it. Hey, I'm looking to partner with in each neighborhood, people I have served, seen, return. Are you interested? Again, you could tweak all these for real estate, for mortgages, etc. We are experts in developing, and then you could say we are experts in risk management and insurance, blah, blah, blah. Please keep us in mind for your next project. So I copied this specifically so that you guys could go through it and see, oh, I like that. Like, you're not going to like all of them. I get that. But some of you may be like, oh yeah. Here's a really good one, by the way. I kind of like this. Hi, blank name. I see we have some mutual connections. I always like networking with new people and thought this would be an easy way for us to introduce ourselves to each other, introduce ourselves. Right. Life is both short and long. We have a few mutual connections, like my network, hopefully the past. So like I said, I'm going to copy this at the end for everyone. Actually, what I'll do right now, even for everyone on the meeting now, I'm going to put it in the chat. So everybody has it in the chat as well. And like I said, what we're going to do now, just to make it practical, I'm going to give us like 5-7 minutes and do something on your LinkedIn to move it in a more positive direction. I'm going to hit the timer here and go. And then we'll come back in 5 minutes and wrap up here. All right, guys. All of our 5 minutes plus a little. Were you guys able to at least do a few things to your LinkedIn? Anybody?
I'm having serious technology problems over here, and I'm
All right.
having trouble even opening a page.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. Anybody else able to do anything on your LinkedIn?
Yes.
I joined a bunch of groups.
Okay, good. JJ, Tony, how about you? Are you still a junior?
So I changed my title, did a summary profile, added my Calendly link,
Nice.
and jumped
That's a good
on to
idea.
follow some more employee benefit companies so I can start posting that kind of stuff now.
Nice. All right, JJ.
Oh, I was
Circle
working on
Square.
this. I was working on this the whole time. So, you know,
Nice.
you can't say
I like
that I was
it.
doing it for the 5
Circle
minutes.
gets to square JJ. I love it. That's great. Okay. Tony, how about you?
I did update the fact that I'm no longer a junior, but just instead have attended the University of South Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm looking here to see, okay, how do we update? Not how, I know how. I'd like to come up with a better term for insurance agent and potentially even a better term than risk management advisor. but that's something I need to chew on for a little bit. I don't want to
I
just
like
slap
it.
something in there.
I like it. I think it's great. Get back to us if you got something good on that, by the way.
It also looks like I was unemployed for 4 years, which is actually not the case. I just don't know that anybody cares that I managed a scooter shop, a taxi company.
Saw that. Which is a good point as well of what I may leave off on LinkedIn. Look, people are going to know you're young, relatively speaking. So, but there may be things that I leave off on my
For
end.
4
Look,
years, you were an entrepreneur.
yeah, there you go. You know, on my end, I've thought, okay, at what point do I get rid of State Farm even? You know, so those are all things you could think about, right? So, cool. Again, I will send out a summary, like I said, depending on how far, whether you had technology issues or what. Craig, I know we had some takeaways on yours. I think that, you know, could definitely help. You know, we said, if I tried to take out of those 60 things, and I kind of read through all of them, and I will send all of them out, like the meat of the meat, again, update your bio, your picture, customized URL, you know, and really like kind of, you know, your banner area and good call to action or description of what you do. Any licenses or awards. This was not in the little 60-day thing, but something I had, and I think, you know, we kind of talked with like using Debbie Deeb as the example is, you know, connect with your top center influences. This is one other area to connect with them. And again, you may say, well, yeah, whatever. Johnny's going to always refer me business. Maybe, maybe not, but maybe Johnny's super active on LinkedIn and you don't even know it. And maybe some other young buck insurance person tries to start making inroads in with Johnny, right? So it's yet one more area to just make sure you're engaging with your team, if you will, your referral team. We talked about cleaning up any incorrect info, joining relevant groups, right? And looking to make some posts at least once or twice a month. And then we also put some strategies and not sales, but some copy, some how do I say, what do I say when I'm trying to connect with LinkedIn people right there. So would definitely say would be worth some time in this area, right? And again, you may not think it's super important now, but I'm pretty confident that LinkedIn is going to be here, you know, 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now. And the sooner you can kind of really start to build a presence, the better it's going to be for you. Things we highlight every meeting, again, the done for you quoting, take advantage of that. The quotes at fact finders are on our toolbox. We've talked about Xywave and Mineral. Again, those are areas where we've got on our robo form that you can find all sorts of value added stuff for clients, whether it's on a whole variety of topics and subjects. If you've not checked those out, you may spend some time on that. And again, thinking JJ, for you, especially Mineral and Xywave has some really good things for group benefits. We've talked about the new carriers. We've got several new carriers direct as part of our merger, right? So Chubb, Pure, Hartford, Great American, Philadelphia, Travelers Middle Market. Some of those do, you know, high net worth or personal lines. Some of them do commercial. Some of them do both. Lots of new carriers there. And then we, you know, also talked even in our last meeting of using the CL file app, PL file app to try and get stuff in to the management system for you. So, all right, guys, go crush it. Go help some people. Have a great day. If I can help you in any way, let me know.
Thank you, Doug.
Before you disconnect,
See you guys.
Thanks.
See you, bud.
never mind.
I'm still here.
Well, no, I was going to say, did you want to go through the thing I sent you about the reciprocal exchange because of Tower Hill? But
Did you send that to me yesterday?
I sent it to you and Shelby because what we're getting a lot of calls about right now, either from current clients or from, you know, new prospects. Tower Hill started a new company, which is set up as a reciprocal exchange.
Kind of like Pure?
Pure, Vault, even Kin is a reciprocal, but people are asking questions and I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of how to explain it and not let somebody get confused of surplus lines tax and surplus contribution and what have you.
Yeah.
But I will
So
probably
you're saying we're getting calls from our current clients or new clients or
both. Well, it's new clients who are saying, hey, I want to review this. Oh, they moved me from they moved me to the exchange and they're charging me more money versus even the current clients who are getting non-renewed out of the old program and put into the exchange, just so that way there's an explanation for it, and that we're not erroneously saying, oh my gosh, Tower Hill, now you're not admitted, and all that good jazz. So that was I wanted to try to touch on that, but I realized, I mean, I can connect with Amy and JJ after, and Kayla even, not the end of the world.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I mean, it looks like they have a pretty good site here too, which kind of unpacks that.
Yeah, they put it all on there, and it's fine. It's just making sure that we're prepared for it, and like it's a sales and a service thing. So I'll try to work with the service team, or maybe have a quick 5-minute water cooler Zoom.
Cool. Appreciate it. See. All right, guys. See ya.